this is it. Let me give you a little background though first. May 15th, 2023, yesterday, was a beautiful day here in Saginaw, Michigan. It got up into the low 70s, which was awesome. And it was a day when, unbeknownst to us, that my buddy Gil and I were about to have a close encounter of the prehistoric kind. We were off to the farm field where we have spent where we spent 2 hours a day for at least the past 2 weeks. And just surface hunting and looking around, artifacts and fossils. Now, we know from arrowheads and spear points that the farm field represents cultures from the late woodland period, which lasted from 600 AD to 1600 AD. And there is also in there the middle woodland from 450 BC to 450 AD. Early woodland from 1000 to 300 BC. And at least from the Archaic realm, a late Archaic occupation there. Now, the late Archaic extended from around 3000 to 1000 BC, and it was at this time that the last glacial period ends. The Archaic is characterized by hunters and gatherers that moved to where they could most easily find their food commodities. Life had changed a lot with the people. Instead of being gatherers and hunters, they began becoming farmers and leading a more sedentary way of life. And the date for the Archaic periods can vary a lot across what is now the United States, and it does vary a lot. And I would expect, at least here in mid-Michigan, that the late Archaic population would have been small, and the conditions would have been very harsh for these people. Remember, the glaciers were retreating, and so I imagine it was cooler. But it would then stand to reason that artifacts left behind would also be sparse if the population was. So all of this is so that I can tell you about this, and it is a very interesting artifact that likely dates back to the late Archaic, certainly to the early woodland, but late Archaic, is my belief. And it is a very primitive hand axe. This axe is extremely reminiscent of the, see if I can say this right, Archaic axe heads found in Europe, Asia, and Africa. Though please understand, I'm not trying to say that this has any physical connection with the old world. Now, even though they were called axes, they were not primarily used as such. Their use was likely quite varied. This ovate form that it has represents the oldest, most common, and longest used formally shaped working tool ever made by human beings. Cool. Now this piece, well, let me say this first. These hand axes varied a lot in size depending on its intended use, of course. And my specimen measures about 4 1/4 inches long, 2 1/2 inches across, and 1 1/2 inches at its thickest part, to about 1/2 inch at the thinnest point. Thinnest here, thickest here. And it is a biface, which means that it was modified by the hand of ancient man on both front and back, by the removal of material to modify the shape and to make it suitable for the purpose that it was intended. On this specimen, there are 9 flakes clearly removed to form this, and that's on the front here. Then on the reverse are 4, and these can be seen quite clearly. I'll be showing you a picture at the same time. You can see where the 4 were struck and were removed, fine-tuning this down to the point that it has. There's also a good-sized flake too that was taken off the pole end. Don't know what the purpose for that was, but it was anyways. So this could easily be the oldest artifact I have found in my 40-plus years of studying Native American Indian artifacts. And some of the things that Bill and I find on the field, it's quite remarkable that they're even seen, because what was revealed of this one, it was buried in the dirt up to about here, and so this is all that was visible, and it caught my eye. And a lot of times when we find arrowheads out on the field, that's how we find them too. They're stuck in the ground, part of it sticking out, and occasionally they're laying there on the surface. So, anyways, yeah, I'm really, really pleased with this one. It's a really cool find. And I hope you enjoy taking a look at it. And I hope you enjoyed taking a look. I send you much love and God's blessings, my dear friends. And God willing, I will be back with you all real, real soon. God bless.